Hello from Taj Beach, Malta. Before I go anywhere else with this, could you subscribe or type a message or join my Patreon thing, because it's super fun. And now that's over, I've been asked a few times what gear I use, and primary use is a GoPro 9. I had a GoPro 10, but I managed to lose it overboard in just near Cannes, and that was that. So that got replaced with a 9, which is fine. It works very well. GoPros are good cameras. If I was going to be starting all over again, I might go with the DJI, because it works very well with I don't know, it's a little bit cheaper, they work great. It's basically a drone but not on a drone, and I think that it's good. Anyway, so that's my primary camera. I also use a 7 occasionally, which I've had for about 5 years now. It works great. I use it as a backup sometimes. I keep it charged. I keep a card in it just so I can grab it and go whenever I need to. I also have a GoPro Session, which is a little session here. It does 1080. It doesn't do 4K, but it's good for just putting in unusual places or throwing it in the water, getting footage from where you, I don't know. It's not as expensive, but if I lose it, and that almost happened in Croatia a few years ago, where I put it down and I put it on the bottom of the sea and was going to swim over it, and then after I swam over it, I turned around to pick it up and it had gone. And I didn't have any goggles, so I had to go like 10 kilometers to a diving shop, buy some goggles, and then sweep the whole area, and I found it. But yeah, so that's a lesson to learn, is don't be like Penny, because he's an idiot. I also use a GoPro Max every now and again, which is good for doing 360 stuff. To be honest, I haven't quite figured out 360 video yet. Other people do, and it looks great. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I do use it for doing 360 stills. I covered the whole thing by putting the GoPro Max in different places, all scattered around, so you can jump from space to space. These, the 9 and the 7 are actually, well, this probably isn't waterproof anymore, but the 9 still is. So sorry, it's a bit noisy here today. So I have put it in the water a few times and shot some stuff with that. It's good to do that every now and again, because otherwise it's just me talking to a camera. I have an iPhone 10. I could get the newer ones, but honestly, this one cost me 200 euros. If I drop it overboard, and at one point I'm going to, because that's how I lost my last one, then it's not the end of the world, and I back everything up as well, so not the end of the world if I lost it, and only 200 euros. I also use the Sony A6300, which has a 55 to 210 lens on it. It's kind of good if you're a long way away from something and you want to get a good frame shot of it, because this is a zoom lens, not terribly expensive, and water resistant, so if it gets splashed it's okay, but I can't put it underwater. But a very good camera, and I'm a photographer, so it's nice to have a real camera. I used to use Canon cameras, but Canon dropped the ball when it came to mirrorless. This is a mirrorless camera, so it doesn't have the prism at the top, and you're looking at a monitor when you look through here, and you also see something on the screen there if you need to. So very good camera. The next thing is the drone. I love drones. The footage I've managed to get from using a drone blows my mind. I mean, really surprises me. Almost every time I launch this little thing, I look at the footage and I'm like, just wow. I try not to use it too much in my YouTube clips, because I'm not making a drone video. I'm making clips about my journey on my boat, and it's a way of showing where I am And it's a way of transitioning from one shot to another shot where you can't really connect the two shots, but if you put 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds of drone footage in there, then that's pretty useful. And it also just sets the scene a bit. So I use the drone footage to show you where I am, and I also use maps, but I'll get more into the editing stuff a little bit further down this video. So that's the gear that I use. My way of filming is kind of unique because I have, of course I can't show you it because it's supporting the camera right now, but I'll add something in. I use the GoPro almost exclusively when I'm talking to camera, because what I want to do is I want to take the viewer on the journey with me. Now, there is a habit that some people use where they get into like moving the camera around too much, and that just is nauseating and annoying, and people will just click off your channel because there'll be another channel that doesn't do that too much. I'm very aware of the camera, so I can hold it stationary, so it's stationary on me, but it's moving around with you, so you're watching me. So it's not like crazy with me going around in the frame as well as the background going around in the frame. It's me holding the camera specifically to shoot myself and take you on my journey. And I don't really see other people doing it too much. Casey Neistat is very good at doing it. But he'll be doing it on a skateboard scooting through New York somewhere. I'm not going to do that. It's also very important to look down the barrel of the lens when you're talking to the camera, talking to your viewers. If you look slightly to the side because you've left the monitor on, especially when you're shooting on an iPhone, if you're shooting with your phone, use this camera. Use the camera at the front, not the back. Because if you shoot it with your camera on the back, you are going to be looking at yourself, not the lens. And that just means that you're talking like this all the time, and you're talking to the person, but you're not actually looking at them, as opposed to actually looking at them. So use this camera at the front and get used to the framing. So when you're holding it, just get used to where it should be pointing for you to be in the frame. And again, don't move it around too much, and don't use those silly cinema effects that make the background all blurry. It just looks unnatural, and that's not what cameras... I mean, if you're making a film and you've got a real tight shot on your heroine's face, the background's going to be out of focus because of the lens you're using. There's no way an editor is going to add that blur later. So you shouldn't add that blur later either. It just looks silly. Make sure you frame things correctly. By framing something correctly, I mean, think about the whole frame that the person's looking at. So if it's like this, that means my face is in the middle, my eyes are in the middle of the shot, but there's this big gap above my head which is no use at all. And so you're gonna like move it camera like that, so you're filming the whole frame, and the whole frame matters. It's like, and it's just more satisfying to watch, and you don't want to give anyone an excuse to not watch what you're filming. For YouTube, the most important thing is you come across as real. You actually want to be talking to the camera. You want to be looking down the lens, talk to the camera as if it's a real person. I mean, I swear this camera saved my life a few times because I just have it as it's like a buddy, it's like a friend. Turn the boat sideways and more in the more usual way because the anchor just let go. It's always on the boat with me. It's like having all my viewers with me on the boat, because I say, today we're going to do this, and I say that without even thinking about it, because it's me and it's you, and I'm taking us on a journey. When I edit, then I don't know, it's difficult to explain editing to someone. You don't have to be an expert, you just have to know what looks good. When I shoot things chronologically. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's certainly simpler. sometimes, because I shoot a wide shot to start with, so we've established where we are. Then you shoot some like 3/4 shots. Then you shoot some close-ups, and together, and then you shoot real detailed stuff as well. And you can make something out of those 4 elements. If you don't shoot the establishing shot, then people don't know where you are. So they're watching it and they're like, where's this person? If you don't shoot any real tight shots, they're like, I don't know what they're doing, I can't see it. So be aware that you're shooting those 4 different things. And by chronologically, I mean, if I go to an event, I just shoot what I shoot. If I think, oh, we should put a wide shot in here, I shoot a wide shot. And then I shoot a tight shot. And then I shoot this and that. And then when I edit it, I literally just chop things up and chronologically put them into the timeline. And then I have a look at what I've got once I've done that edit. And then I go back and tighten things up. And by tightening things up, I mean by just shortening the edit so they're a little bit closer. Go back and look at the things that you've edited and look at it to see if you could make it better. And when I edit, I do my edit, and then I'll go back and I'll look at it. I'll look at it for continuity. I'll look at it for bad edits, like a 3/4 shot to a 3/4 shot from the same angle. Swap them over with something else, put a tight shot in there so you're editing from a slightly different angle or something like that. It just tells the story better. Jump cuts used to be like, but now people have got used to them and they kind of work okay. That's what a jump cut is. It's like there's nothing in between the 2 shots, but they're very similar. Try not to use them too much, but don't worry about using them occasionally. After I've gone through the edit again from beginning to end and I've tightened things up a little bit, then I go through again and check all the audio to make sure that all the levels are correct. And then I add music. Sometimes I'll add music if it's a specific shot that I want to have edited to music. I'll drop the music track on a little bit earlier. But usually the music is the last thing that I add because I want to make sure that the story works without the music. I don't like it. I don't like these channels that just, they have music in the background the whole time. I find that really annoying. I walked out of Oppenheimer because there was just music on every frame, and I just found it annoying, patronizing, and just amateurish. Quality matters. Shoot good shit. Make beautiful images. Really try hard to do really good stuff. There are so many video channels out there, and I mean literally there's like 5,000 new ones a day. So if you're expecting to make any money out of YouTube, you are in the wrong career, because you're not going to make any money out of it. Seriously, I think I probably made 200 euros, 260 euros out of everything I've ever put online, and I've got hundreds of films up there, and I have 2 channels, and so the other one's just for other things that aren't my jaywalking series, but I've got some people watch them a lot. 200 and something euros is what I made, so you're never going to do that. I do use Patreon, and I like Patreon a lot. Patreon is for people that they don't just want to casually watch your stuff occasionally. They really like what I'm doing, and it's a subscription service, and it works really well. And I have a closer relationship with those people if they have questions about how to move a boat around, how to do this, what was it like when you arrived in France, what's it like going through a lock, and I can answer those like on Patreon a lot easier than I do everywhere else. I like encouraging people to travel. I like talking to people about boats, because I didn't know shit about boats until I bought a boat. But now I know a bit more about it, so you can learn from my mistakes. I guess now would be a good time to plug my friendly flags, which are these. An idea I came up with when I was in Cannes, and I have a website, and you can order friendly flags if you want. It just means if you see a friendly flag flying on a boat, you just go up and go, hey, I saw your flag, and they'll be like, oh, cool, and then you start a conversation. So thanks for watching my little video about how to shoot things and edit them and just kind of life on board and throwing it all up on YouTube. I've really enjoyed it. There's over 103, 104 videos up there now, and occasionally I'll go back and watch one of them because I'm like, good God, did I get all the way from Paris to here? Oh no, I came from London. I mean, originally I didn't really think of doing it for YouTube. It was just for friends of mine to follow where I'd gone. But once you start doing it and you get into it, it's actually quite fun. I've really enjoyed it. And I hope there's something that you find useful in this little clip as well. Thanks for watching.